algebra problem number 3, and it says, which expression is equivalent to 18 c to the 8th d to the 9th divided by 9 c to the 3rd d to the 6th power? Assume the denominator does not equal 0. Now that assume the denominator does not equal 0 is not going to change anything that we're going to do. So computer, will you cross it off for me? Because it's some extra information I really don't need. Thank you. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to solve this problem by expanding. So can we write out 18? And since it says c to the 8th on the top, we're going to write out 8 c's. And then since it says d to the 9th, we're now going to write out 9 d's. And then on the bottom, we're going to write 9 underneath our 18. And then we've got c to the 3rd power, so we're going to write out 3 c's directly underneath our top c's. And we've got d to the 6th, so we're going to write out 6 d's directly below our top d's. Okay, so first what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and simplify our numbers. So let's go to our calculator. And we're going to go ahead and get to our home screen. So you hit second mode to get to your home screen. And what we're going to do is we're going to use our fraction bar. So we're going to hit alpha y equals, enter. And we're going to put 18 on top and 9 on the bottom. And we're going to hit enter and simplify it and see what it gives us. And it gives us 2. Now because it just gives us 2, that means it's going to be a whole number. So let's go back to our answer choices. And we're going to write out 2. And if we look at our answer choices, A and C are the only answer choices with a 2. So we can cross off B and D. Now the next thing we're going to simplify is our C's. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw a straight line from top to bottom through any of our C's that match on top and match on the bottom. And we've got 3 on top and 3 on the bottom. So that leaves us with 5 C's on top. So let's go back to our answer choices. And we've got A says C to the 5th and C says C to the 11th. So we're going to circle A because that's got C to the 5th. But let's just double check and make sure that we're correct. So let's look at our D's and let's draw a straight line through 6 of our D's on top and 6 on the bottom. And we've got 3 left over, and if we look at answer choice E, we've got D to the 3rd. And that is our answer. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, hello. This is question number 13, and it says, look at the systems of equations. In this system, we have 2 equations, y equals negative x plus 2, and 7x plus 4y equals negative 1. Okay, and the most important part of the question says, what is the value of x for the solution to this system of equations? Okay, so to answer this question, first of all, what is it asking us to solve for? It's asking us to solve for x. And we know when we have a system of equations, we're going to try to look for the intersection between these 2 lines. In order to do that, we're going to graph it in our calculator. So we're going to pull up our calculator, and we're going to press y equals, and we've done this earlier before, so we're going to go ahead and clear it. Start over again. And in y1, we're going to put the first equation, which is negative x plus 2. And hold up, our second equation does not solve for y, so we got to go and do that. So we're going to go back to our screen, and we're going to take that second equation. And we're going to circle the 7x because it's farthest away from y. And we're going to draw an arrow to move it to the right side of our equation. And we know because it has an x term, we're going to keep it closest to our equal sign. So when we rewrite that equation, we're going to write 4y, because that 4y is positive, equals. And when we move something to the other side of the equation, we know we're going to make that sign the opposite of what it was before. It was positive on the left, so it's going to be a negative 7x on the right. minus 1. Now the last thing for us to do is to get rid of the 4 in front of the y. So we're going to divide each term by 4. So we're going to divide the 4y by 4, the negative 7x by 4, and the negative 1 by 4. Going to create a 1 pair with our 4 over 4, drawing a line through it. Can we draw a line here? Yep, there we go. And now y is going to be equal to negative 7 over 4x minus 1 over 4. Now that we have the second equation solved for y, we're going to go back into our calculator and we're going to put the second equation in y2. When we put fractions in the calculator, remember we hit alpha y equals enter, and we're going to put negative 7 in the numerator and 4 in the denominator. Then press the right arrow to exit the fraction, and we're going to press the XCON button to put in x minus, and we have another fraction, so we're going to press alpha y equals enter again, and put in 1 for the numerator and a 4 for the denominator. Now that we have both of these two equations entered into y equals, we're going to press second trace 5, trace being the calc button, and 5 being the intersect button. Wait till our calculator draws these two lines. It's important to see if we see the intersection on our screen because we might have to press zoom 3. So, now we're going to press enter, right, enter, enter. And we see that it says that our intersection is x equals negative 3 and y equals 5. This is an ordered pair. This is where these two lines cross. Which one is our solution? Well, of course, the axis to find x. So the x equals negative 3 is our answer choice here, and that is the answer choice B. So we're going to circle that and move on to the next problem. Poof.
Hello, this is Queen Hackenberg from the Kingdom of Algebra. Today I'm with you to discuss domain and range. Hopefully these are familiar concepts to you. Domain is the x value when you have a relationship. The range is the y value, but our focus today will just be on domain. Computer, would you please highlight all the x values in the ordered pairs that are given on the screen? So our computer is highlighting each of the x values, in each case highlighting the first value within the parentheses. We are asked to select the ordered pairs that have a x value of negative 1 to begin with. Computer, could you please find negative 1 in the highlighted ordered pair and bring it over? Thank you. Next, we are looking for an x value that is a 2, so we're looking for a highlighted 2. Computer, could you please find the highlighted 2? Thank you. Now we have just one more ordered pair to find. We're looking for an x value of 4. Computer, would you please find an x value of 4? Thank you, computer. I'm so glad you are in my kingdom. Until next time.
Alright, so today we are going to work on problem number 34, which asks us which equation represents the pattern shown in the table. So the best way to do this is we are given answer choices or equations, and we are given a table. We have a tool in our calculator that matches a table to an equation. So we're going to pull up our calculator, and we're going to use the y equals button to type in the equation into our calculator. So we're going to try answer choice A. So we're going to type in answer choice A into our calculator. So into y equals, we're going to type in negative 3x minus 19. Now we have to look at our table. So in order to do that, we push second graph. And we're going to look at our x values and our y values. So we want to check our x values. We're going to check negative 3. And we're going to see if negative 10 matches up with that. So we have negative 3, negative 10. Now we need to check our next x value, which is negative 2. And we're looking for it to match up with negative 7. It does not. So we're going to move on to answer choice B to see if that matches. So y equals, now we're going to type in x minus, negative x, minus 13. We're going to push second graph. We're going to check our table again, negative 3, negative 10, negative 2, it's not negative 7. So we are going to move on to answer choice C. And y equals, we're going to type in x minus 11, second graph. We're going to check our table. We have negative 3, negative 14. That does not match. Now we're going to do answer choice D. It seems like it would be the right answer, but we want to check anyway. So we're going to type in y equals 3x minus 1, 11. The second graph. We're going to check all four values. So we're going to check negative 3, so we have negative 3, negative 10, negative 2, negative 7, negative 1, negative 4, and 0, negative 1. Now that all of our values match, we know we have the correct equation.
Alright, so today we are looking at problem number 36. In this problem we are given a table with a series of data, which is represented by the x column and the y column. The question that we have here is asking us which of the following equations most closely represents the line of best fit for this data. So when we see this problem, the first thing we need to see, as you can see highlighted, is that the line of best fit is what we're looking for. So line of best fit means linear. So obviously we are not talking about a quadratic, so we are going to need to do a linear regression for this data. So the first thing we're going to do is pull up our calculator and we're going to enter in our data. So we're going to go to Stat, Edit, and in L1 we are going to write our x values. So we're going to press 1, enter, 2, enter, 3, enter, all the way down to 6. And now that we have our x values entered in, we're going to right arrow over to L2, which will be where our y values are listed. So we're going to press 2, enter, 4, enter, and all the way down to 11. Alright, so now that we have our values entered into our calculator, we are going to run our linear regression. So in order to do this, we need to go to Stat, over to Calc, because we're going to be calculating this linear regression. And we're going to go down to number 4. If you see listed, it's lin reg, standing for linear regression. We're going to press enter. And as you can see, we have that a linear regression is in the form of ax plus b. And we want our x list to be L1, our y list to be L2. And luckily the calculator has done that for us. So we can enter all the way down to calculate at this point. And we can press enter. So now the calculator has calculated our linear regression. As you can see, the a value is 1.77 and the decimal goes on. The b value is 0.13 repeating. So if we now look at our answer choices, we need to figure out which of these equations most closely matches what we found in our calculator. As you can see, answer choice A says 1.77x plus 0.13, which matches almost exactly to what the calculator has told us. It's important to remember that the 1.77 being the a value needs to be the coefficient of x, and the b value will be the constant added on at the end. So we have our answer choice A as the correct answer, and we are done with this problem.
Why, hello. So, algebra problem number 37. What is the range of this relation? So first off, range, what is that? Range is our y values. So computer, can you highlight the y-axis for me, please? Ah, it is our vertical axis, going up and down. Thank you. So first off, let's look at our answer choices. We can obviously get rid of A because it has an X in it, and we are not looking for domain. Okay, so now also let's look at our graph, and we just have 4 plotted points. We don't have a continuous graph. So because it's not continuous, let's go ahead and get rid of answer choice C as well. Now we're only left with B and D. So now what we're going to do is we are going to draw a line starting from the bottom point over to our y-axis to see what value it is. And our bottom point is on the y-axis, and it's at -4. And then our next point up, draw an arrow over, and it is 0 on our y-axis. And then our next one, when we draw our line over, is at 2 on the y-axis. And our last one is at 4 on the y-axis. So let's look at our answer choices. And the obvious answer choice is D. And there we go. So long.
Welcome to the quirky world of quadratics and question 40. We have been asked to click on the grid to plot each point that we need to select. We must select all correct points. Does that mean that there might be more than one? Yes, it does. So we need to be very careful to collect all of them. We need to identify each of the x and y intercepts of the relation that's shown. Now let's think back. The x-intercepts, they are going to cross the x-axis. Let's highlight our x-axis to make sure we are going to find where the graph connects with the x-axis. Now, I see 2 points where the graph goes through the x-axis, and I'm going to have the computer put a dot there. So there's our first dot where it has connected with the point -1, 0. Now I see another one at x equals 5. And the computer can, in a minute, put a dot at 5, 0. Now, our y-axis is our vertical axis. So let's highlight that axis. That's the next one that we will need, because our y-intercept will cross the y-axis. So let's see, where is that crossing? So I'm going to put a dot where that is crossing, a nice red dot, and there my value is 0 for x and 5 for y. And those are the x and y intercepts of my quadratic equation.
Good afternoon. We're getting ready to take a look at this question. What is f of -8 for the function f? First, let us analyze what does f of -8 mean. F of x is really just a fancy way of saying y equals. Y equals, light bulb, that means I need to grab my TI-83 and hit y equals right away. So let's do that. TI-83, y equals. Now, how am I going to put this function in there? Our little green button, alpha, press alpha, y equals, and enter. And guess what comes up? Fancy little fraction bar. So we're going to put our numerator, which is what, guys? 11 times parentheses, x minus 24 parentheses. Make sure you type it just like that and close it off. Now we're going to press arrow down, and we're going to enter in what? The number 2. Alrighty? So now that we have our function in, what I want you guys to do is step back. What do we call out? F of -8. -8, that's important. Alright, second graph. What's going to happen when we hit second graph? Our fancy little table appears. We're going to scroll up to -8. What do we get? Negative 176. What does that mean? When we press in negative 8, our response is negative 176. Therefore, that's our what? Answer. So let's go ahead to our answer choices and color in choice C. And we have this problem correct. This is a freebie, guaranteed A on your SOL.